Hey guys, it's RebeccaOberstadt. I figured I would film this video out here because I went to go film another video and then the air kicked on. And it is one of those that I don't kind of really want to drag the items for that video outside. Knowing my luck, I'd probably drop them multiple times and I'd have to rewash everything. So I'll just film this one instead. I have been up since about 11:30 last night. This is the Nomad Cosmetics Antilles palette. I think there's something stuck in my lip gloss. Yep, cat hair. So I recorded the last two looks for the 4 looks 1 palette for that video first. I filmed it at like 6 o'clock this morning. It's about 8 a.m. right now that I am filming this. And so, yeah. And then maybe before I wash this off, or when I go back in, the air will be off and I'll be able to film the other video that I had planned. So, what I'm talking about today is brands I don't care to try. Brands I don't want to try for one reason or another, or, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I might not be interested in trying these brands, and I will talk a little bit about them, but I'm not really going to go into a whole lot of detail. Some of it is price point, some of it is past actions of the owners of the brand, some of it is inclusivity or lack thereof with the brand. So I now have a flashing battery sign. That's great. So those are just a few of the examples of brands that I'm not interested in trying. And I just thought of another one, but it's already on my list, so I'm good. So getting off to the 31st brand is House Labs. I like Lady Gaga's music. I'm not like an uber fan of her music. She was like after the Britney Spears phase, and she's a little younger than me, but I didn't like grow up with her music or anything like that. I grew up with like Britney Spears music. So it wasn't like, I mean, her music is okay, but I'm not like an uber fan. And then she came out with like liquid eyeshadows first, and the colors were pretty. I did look at them. I did think about, you know, buying a few of the things that she had. And then I was like, yeah, but this stuff seems really gimmicky. So I decided that I wouldn't buy her first launch. And then she just released a blue eyeshadow palette, and I love blue eyeshadows. But I don't know, there's just something about the brand that does not draw me in. I don't care for the packaging, the inconsistencies between not only the formulas, but I don't know, just some of the things that I've seen review-wise online, and a lot of people are saying that they don't want to support the brand because it's only sold on Amazon. I know there's a lot of controversies with Amazon as well, and we won't get into that. But it's one of those things that there's nothing about the brand that like really draws me in. And there's a couple of brands on this list that are also like that they just don't grab me, or there's nothing that interests me from this brand or brands. So the next one, I'm going to lump kind of all 3-ish. Well, there's 2 that I have down. Technically, I guess there's 3. Is Kylie Cosmetics. I hate liquid lipsticks. Absolutely detest them with a passion. The only formulas that I've ever found that do not super dry my lips out, that don't ball up, that don't clump up, that actually layer nicely are the Wet n Wild ones, and of course the Jeffree Star Cosmetics ones. But I have now decluttered all of my Jeffree Star liquid lipsticks, and they are all listed for sale on Depop. So Wet n Wild, their liquid catsuit formula is actually the only one I like. I have tried Stila, I have tried Too Faced, I've tried Urban Decay, I've tried some from a couple of other brands, and I just don't like them. So when the whole Kylie thing came about, number one, I don't watch reality TV. I find the stuff to be garbage, just like that WWE fake wrestling, whatever stuff. If I want to watch some sort of like fighting, I'm going to watch something like MMA. I want to actually, if I do watch anything like that, which I don't really care for it, I'm going to watch a real legitimate physical on physical fight, not some staged bullcrap. I don't like the fake stuff. So why would I watch reality TV when it's all staged and fake and scripted? It's I don't know. I don't get it. So I didn't really have a very good opinion of the Jenners and Kardashians anyways. I remember the O.J. Simpson trial when I was growing up. I remember that very well. I remember all of the BS that they pulled at the trial. And so it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth that these people got famous because the dad represented O.J. Simpson and they were friends with him. And I already had a bad taste in my mouth about that situation and how I really do think O.J. did it. And to my dying breath, I will think he did it. You can't convince me otherwise. It's just a gut feeling that I have. So they got famous off of that. And then there was some sex tape and a whole bunch of fake stuff again, if you ask me. So Kylie was really big for the lip kits. She has a couple of eyeshadow palettes that I like the colors of. And if you guys would like me to do a video making a palette virtually to copy those palettes with maybe another brand, let me know and I will do that, because she does have a couple of palettes that I do like aesthetically, the way it looks, the colors that were picked, the layout, that kind of thing. And I could recreate it with a brand that I would actually buy from. The other one is KKW Beauty, and I guess now that Kim's husband, which I don't listen to his music either. Actually, I don't like him as a person. I don't like her as a person. I think they're garbage people. Her makeup looks like something you would find at the Dollar Tree. It looks cheap. It looks mass-produced in China for pennies on the dollar. It looks very underwhelming. It's all a bunch of like neutral tones, and those of you that know me know I don't do like, this is a neutral eye look, kind of. But I don't like neutral basic bitch makeup. It's just not me. So I would never be drawn to anything from her brand either, because it is all neutral basic bitch makeup. And it looks cheap. And for what I understand, it is kind of cheap. So I would never be interested in buying anything or trying anything from that brand or anything that family comes out with. It's just a no for me. Next is Huda Beauty. I got the Mauve Obsessions in an Ipsy Glam Bag Plus. I hated it. I do like the looks of a couple of her palettes, but I would rather spend the money at Alter Ego and buy the dupe for her nudes palette and buy it from them, because I know what kind of quality that they make. I don't care for the heavy fragrance that she puts in all of her products. I don't think fragrance in products that go on your face is necessary at all. And I literally only have one thing from her brand that I actually like, and that was the Emerald Obsessions palette that I got as a free gift for upgrading to my Ipsy Glam Bag for an entire year. That's the only product of hers that I've actually liked, that I own, and the other palette is up for sale on Depop. So, the next one is Fenty Beauty. I like Rihanna's music, but I'm not like an uber fan, again, like with Lady Gaga. I don't really listen to the radio that much. I'm into like operatic rock, goth rock, like things like Birthday Massacre and, well, here, we'll just take a look at my phone and we'll see who I have installed on my iPhone. We'll go by artists. So let's see, we have the Birthday Massacre, Cranberries, The Doors, I've got Johnny Gilbert on here, Pentatonics, The Police, Sarah McLachlan, Savage Garden, Say We Can Fly, Selena Gomez, Shannon Taylor, Sheryl Crow, Sinead O'Connor, Social Repose, Soundgarden, Stone Temple Pilots, Sublime, Sunshine and Bullets, which is a friend of mine's band, Superhaven, Tool, U2, Van Halen, Victoria Modesta, Within Temptation, and then there's also there are a bunch of bands that are like Birthday Massacre and Within Temptations, like Selenia and Disdain and bands like that. That's the kind of music I enjoy the most. It's very operatic, usually soprano versions of grungy gothic rock music. Very heavy, very melodic. That's the kind of music I prefer. But I'm also a mezzo soprano, and I like to be able to sing along. So I like some of Rihanna's songs, but I don't really listen to the radio. I listen to Pandora. And I don't, when I'm in the car, I might listen to the radio, but that's it. And as soon as an ad comes on, I switch it off, because I hate listening to ads on the radio. Fenty Beauty is, of course, a Black-owned beauty brand, but there's a few things that kind of have grabbed my attention, but for the most part, nothing really is like something that I'm dying to get. The eyeshadow palettes are just okay. They have pretty colors in them, but they're just not something that draws me in. Plus, it's quite expensive for their stuff, and so I'm just really not that interested. Then we have some YouTuber brands. We have Laura Lee Los Angeles. I don't like Laura Lee. I did watch her for a while, but the fact that she mispronounces common everyday words used to drive me insane. She seems very fake, very put on. I don't know. There's things that she would say on camera and you could just read that there was no emotion behind her eyes. And I just can't sit and watch somebody that is kind of like just droning on about something that you can tell they really don't give a crap about. And they're like raving about this product. And it's like, but you look like you hate it. Why are you raving about something that you have like deadpan eyes for? So she came out with the Nudie Patootie palette, the Cat's Pajama palette. They had pretty colors, but it's stuff I already own. Again, it's basic bitch colors. Nothing that I'm interested in. Then we have Lunar Beauty, which is owned by Manny or Manny MUA. Number one, I don't like him as a person. Again, seems very fake to me. Would lie about a product being fantastic when it's actually not. Uses filters on things that shouldn't have filters on them, especially when you're doing a foundation review and you do use a smoothing filter over it, so the cracks and the cakes and the cruddy looking cake face foundation looks flawless because of the filters that you use. I don't use filters on any of my stuff, period. I don't feel the need to. I'm almost 40 years old, and if you can't accept the way that I look, like I accept the way that I look, then why are you here? So I don't care for him. And then the premise behind the brand is moon and stars and ethereal kind of stuff like that. But then he said it was something about his love for Sailor Moon. Well, I never watched Sailor Moon. It was past my time as a kid, so I never got into Sailor Moon. I've tried watching it. I usually watch, when I watch anime things, I watch them in the original language they were filmed in and then just put subtitles on if it's something that I miss the word or don't understand what they're saying for whatever reason. I like to have subtitles on in English so I can understand. So there was that aspect of it. And then he started throwing pagan elements into his makeup line, and he was like jumbling all these pagan elements together into one thing. And as a pagan, that offended me. He had what would be considered earth magic mixed in with Satanism. Okay, number one, most Wiccans do not believe in Satan. Satan is a Judeo-Christian construct. People that are of a earth or nature-based religion do not believe in angels or heaven or hell or Satan or demons. We don't believe in that stuff because those were Christianity's way to control their people. And a lot of the people that I know feel the same way that I do. So, dude, really? There's a soldier fly on the... Hey! Well, here, come here. There's a soldier fly flying around the camera. Anyways, if you see it, you see it. If not, oh well. I used to play with those when I was a kid. I used to think they were so cool. Until my dad told me they bite, and then I used to freak out about them. And now I know they don't bite, so whatever. So taking things, especially, like he even used a very super like meaningful symbol that is used by the Israeli Jews and used that on a palette that was pagan related. I about lost it. You don't take a Judeo-Christian symbol and mix it with a bunch of satanic symbols and pagan symbols and symbols from pagan religions. You just don't do that. Number one, it's a slap in the Jews' faces. It's a slap in the faces of Islam, and you don't do it. I can understand if it was trying to be like the palm reading palm, but instead he used the Hamsa. He used that. He used a couple of other Islam-related symbols, and it's like he pulled whatever he probably just typed in pagan symbols and pulled whatever came up first and threw it on the front of the palette. And he's like, here's your Halloween palette. We get a bunch of witchy looking symbols and a black widow. Okay. I can see like 20 things wrong with the front of the palette. And I don't even want to get into the very first palette, The Life is a Drag. I had never heard about him doing drag. I did follow him. I found Laura Lee either through his channel or Jeffrey's channel, and I'm unsubscribed from all of them now. But I had never heard anything about him interested in drag. He never like talked about drag. He never mentioned drag. And then all of a sudden, RuPaul's Drag Race was like this big thing. I think it was season 11 or maybe season 10. All of a sudden, he was drag this and drag that and drag that. And then it was, oh, let me put it in an eyeshadow palette about Life's a Drag. I'm like, This is like the first time I've ever heard him mention drag ever. And he's like supposedly done drag and loves drag and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, that's great, you do you, but this is first I've heard that you even like drag. And then he's based on an entire eyeshadow palette around drag and drag culture and drag colors and phrases. And there was a whole bunch of stuff that just turned me off to his brand. He has some really pretty products. I'll give him that. He's got some very cheap looking packaging. And number one, Medusa is a Gorgon. She is not a goddess. If you're going to use pagan symbols or Greek mythology, do your fucking research before you put it on a piece of makeup that's going to be seen by the masses, that's going to be sold to the masses, because you look like a fucking moron. You are a fucking moron for not doing your research on these things. Oh, let's call it the goddess palette. We're going to put a Gorgon on the front and call it Medusa. Oh my God. So, I'm going to get off of that topic because I really kind of hate Manny and I hate his brand. Then we have Too Faced. You know, Rich Lives Matter. Let's use a black influencer to increase our brand exposure and then not talk about anything else. And when the shit hit the fan with the Rich Lives Matter and we're all going, no, it's Black Lives Matter, dumbass. Rich lives don't matter because y'all are the top 1% and we don't care about y'all because people like me are out here living middle class or under middle class, and or in my case below middle class because I don't even earn $1,000 a year. So it was like a huge slap in the face. And then the way that they talked about people and the trashy stuff on their brand, the names of some of their palettes is super sexually suggestive. Some of the things were even like from somebody who's been a sexual assault victim were very offensive to me because of the fact that I've been a victim of that crime, and there was some products and stuff that were labeled that made it seem like raping somebody was okay, and that's not okay. And I don't want to buy makeup from a brand who thinks rape and sexual assault is okay. So I have a few things from Too Faced. Some of them will come in subscription boxes. Some of them I have bought a couple of things, and everything that is Too Faced I have for sale on Depop. Then we have Sunday Riley, and I'm going to lump it in with Drunk Elephant because my camera's flashing at me. Number one, I think they're both overpriced. So there's that. Two, they both use fragrance in their skincare. That's a huge no for me. Three, Sunday Riley paid for a whole bunch of like fake reviews or had their employees, which technically would be considered paid because they work for the company and they're getting paid to write the reviews, to write a whole bunch of false reviews on their products. So you don't know what reviews are legit and which ones are not. So that left a huge bad taste in my mouth for that brand. Oh, hello. Can I see you? Can you get on my notebook so I can show other people? I won't hurt you, I promise. Oh. Look. It's a very nice Rant's beetle. Aw, how cool are you, buddy? Here you go. Okay, we'll put you. There you. No, now you're coming back my way. Sorry, I had a new shiny moment. Sorry, I really am just a big nature lover at heart. Okay, I love all things, bugs, plants, animals. It's people I hate. So, sorry, I digress. They're just so cool. I used to play with them when I was a kid too, and I'm just a big kid. I think they're so neat. So, Sunday Riley, I have one product from that brand, and it's their vitamin C like moisturizer. It breaks me out. There's too much fragrance in it. It makes my skin feel super dry. It's like greasy feeling and thick. When I've tried to apply it to my face, I've even tried using it on my legs, and like my sheets stick to my legs, my pants stick to my legs. It's gross. And to be honest, I didn't think the vitamin C moisturizer, whatever the stuff is, did anything. So, other than piss off my skin, because it has too much fragrance and it's super, super thick. So, those are the reasons why I wouldn't try Drunk Elephant and Sunday Riley. It's just really because I don't like fragrance in skincare. I'm not going to buy some bougie skincare that is overpriced when I can buy cheaper alternatives that will give me the same, if not similar results. Or should I say that the other way around? Similar results, if not the same results. I just don't see the need in it. And there's been a few things from Drunk Elephant that I've been interested in trying, but there was some brand controversies a little while back that kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, and I'm just not interested in supporting that brand. Then we have Storybook Cosmetics. They make the like Disney princess themed like eyeshadow palettes. There was a big thing where they were being mass produced in China. They were slapping a USA label on them and trying to sell them, stating that they were, hello? What are you doing? I'm getting anonymity. Stating that they were USA made, but they weren't, and they were made for BoxyCharm, and there was a bunch of other stuff that happened, and people noticed that had already had Storybook cosmetic products that they were not the same quality as the other products as they got in their BoxyCharms. And then, I don't know, it's just a lot of like inconsistent things, and then there's like multiple owners, and so one owner made a decision to be in one sub box, and then the other owner decided to be in another sub box all at the same time, and they didn't talk to each other. It's kind of like having a right hand and a left hand, and but they're on two different people. They don't know what the other one is doing, and that can cause problems. So I don't know, I think the packaging is really bulky. It's pretty. It's like collector's makeup. I want makeup I can use. I don't want makeup that's just going to sit there and not be used and just take up space. It's just, I buy makeup to use it, not to just have it look pretty. Then we have Beauty Bakery. For being a Black-owned business, I'm very let down by some of the things I have seen recently from current and or past employees, and those that are current employees most likely are now past employees, where the other non-Caucasian people that worked in the office were very rude and denigrating to women. They mistreated. So the non-Caucasian female employees felt like they were being mistreated, and in my opinion, some of the things that I've read from several people, it seems that they were being mistreated, and I don't think that's cool. And then when they tried to bring it up to the owner, she was like, I will stand by the decision made by these other men. And even though she's the owner of the company, she stood by the men and didn't take the women's accusations seriously, and I think that is wrong. As a survivor of various forms of abuse, I think I pay attention to things a little bit more than most, because I can usually tell when somebody's crying wolf. But if somebody comes to you with a concern about something that is inappropriate or out of line, as a woman to a woman, they should do some research, make sure that the story is valid, make sure that there's proof to back it up, and then do something about it, not just sit back on your laurels and just let it go. I think Beauty Bakery needs to be held accountable for their actions, and I think the owner needs to step up and say something, especially to the people that were involved in these situations. I don't think it's right. I'm sure that there's a lot of this kind of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that we just don't hear about, and it doesn't get posted on social media, or like with the whole ABH thing, you have non-disclosures that people are being forced to sign. But there's always a loophole with an NDA. But I'll get into that in another video. This one's already long enough. Really quick, I've got 4 left. I've got Natasha Denona. Again, I've talked about this brand in another video. They make beautiful products. I want some of their products, but I'm not willing to spend $65 to $200 and whatever dollars to buy beautiful eyeshadows. I know they make blushes and bronzers that are also gorgeous, and I would be interested in buying them if they were a third of the price. I think that is the biggest thing for me, that price is what determines my interest in a brand at times. So even though I like the aesthetic of the brand, I do hear that some of their products are hit and miss. There's not like a whole lot of controversy with the brand. I mean, Natasha Denona is a makeup artist, just like, Pat McGrath is. And both of them have beautiful product lines, but can't afford either of them. And so I'm not interested in even thinking about trying to save $100+ to buy anything from either Pat McGrath or Natasha Denona. Last brand, and then we have 2 more influencer brands that I forgot to lump in with the other 2 earlier. Honest Beauty was created by Jessica Alba. I like Jessica Alba as a person. I like her films. I like her music. I like her. But the brand itself, trying to say something is clean, or it's non-toxic, or it's this, or it's that, And then building your entire brand around that kind of makes me go, when they put like fragrance in skincare. What some people consider non-toxic to them means something completely different to somebody else. Essential oils should never be used in like products, especially topical products that are going to go on your skin or your surfaces. I know she made like cleaning products first and then she came out with makeup later. And again, I hear mixed reviews on her products, but again, it's like basic bitch makeup. It's stuff that I'm not into. And it's like, okay, if that's what you wear on like an everyday basis, it's the neutral colors and stuff that's super easy to apply in 5 minutes and out the door, that's great. And I'm sure if I worked a normal 9-to-5 job, I might be interested in trying some of that stuff if I couldn't wear the makeup that I like to wear. But it is what it is. I don't have a job. Every time I apply for a job, I never get the job, so I'm not worried about it right now. And there's nothing from the brand that even tempts me to want to try it. Last are 2 influencer brands. One of them is Dragon Beauty, which is from Nikita Dragon. I think she is a shit person. I think she has a shit attitude. I think the way she treats people and talks down to people is crappy. I do not think that her makeup line is inclusive. I think it is bargain basement Chinese makeup that is a cash grab. And I don't need to say any more than that. That's what I think. I think it's trash makeup. I think it looks cheap. It's not inclusive, and she only did it because she was running low on cash. Then we have Jaclyn Cosmetics. Now, I used to watch Jaclyn Hill. I watched Jaclyn Hill for years. I own her Morphe palette. It's the only Morphe palette I still own. But with everything that has happened with her between Morphe collabs and only putting out a video to sell people something, or doing a boohoo woe is me thing only to sell something like either the same day or the next day. Like she just posted on Instagram that her dad died, who was a scam artist. He ripped a bunch of people off money-wise and ran fake 501c3 church type things and ruined a lot of lives and families. And I guess supposedly she was involved in some of it at the beginning and she distanced herself and they had a falling out or whatever. And I understand that's her dad. You know, if my dad has done shitty things and I've had to forgive him for it, not for his mental sake, but for mine. But, you know, she was like, well, 3 months ago my dad died and I just didn't want to post about it on social media. And I'm like, so why are you posting about it on social media that your dad died? So I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm waiting for her to say, oh, but my brand has a brand new release. Come buy it. Or more non-disclosed sponsored content. I'm waiting on that too. Am I cynical? Yes. But it's something that she's done time and time and time again. Her lipstick launch was handled awfully. Her collab with Becca Cosmetics was nothing but excuses. Her collabs with Morphe is nothing but excuses and lies. And lie to me once, and I believe it, shame on you. Lie to me twice, and I believe it, shame on me. After those 2 chances, I basically burn people. Usually I'll give somebody a second chance, sometimes even a third chance, but she's repeatedly lied about things that, I don't know, I can't wrap my head around it. She lies about so many things, it's hard to know what's accurate and what is not accurate. I honestly think that she lies to herself and tells herself that it's the truth. And so she is so believable when she lies that you can't really tell what's what anymore. Her highlighters were beautiful. I did want a couple of the shades, but her packaging looks tacky and cheap to me. I understand the components were plastic instead of glass. She was talking about how bougie and expensive they were and they were frosted this and no, I heard they were plastic and and then her highlighters that were supposedly made in Italy weren't made in Italy. The component was made in Italy and then the highlighters were made here. I've heard so many stories, it's not even funny, and I honestly don't know what to believe anymore, so I'm not going to support her or the brand. Another person I'm not subscribed to. I'm not subscribed to most of the big beauty YouTubers anymore. I have been at one point, and I don't watch them anymore. I would rather have somebody sit down and have a real conversation with me about something they're trying, like Raw Beauty Christie, instead of somebody trying to sell me a lipstick that you can obviously see is garbage, or a foundation that is supposed to be amazing and it's caked up on their face and it looks like they applied it with a spackle knife. and it looks awful. And they use filters to hide the fact that it looks awful. I can't with some of these beauty YouTubers. So I'm always going to tell you guys how I feel about things, what my opinion is on things, and everybody has an opinion, and we're all allowed to have our own opinions. And if you like these people and these brands, that's great. I don't. This is my channel. It's just what I have to say on the topic. If you like these things and you want to rebut me, then go to your channel and record a video and edit it and put it up and tell your opinions on these brands to your followers, because, you know, that's how you feel. But on my channel, I'm going to talk about how I feel about things. I'm going to weigh the pros and the cons of things. I'm going to try and do my research into brands, talk about the nitty gritty on things, and, you know, I try not to sugarcoat anything. I didn't sugarcoat anything with my kids. They knew there was no Santa and no Tooth Fairy, and I didn't lie to them about holidays. I explained what the holidays were based around and what the mythology was behind them, and I didn't lie to my children and tell them, well, if you don't do this, Santa's not going to bring you anything for Christmas. And I'm like, well, according to the Bible, Christ was born about this time of year, and the pagans celebrate Yule on this day because of this, you know, event that happens on the planet. And that's why they have a holiday there to represent that event. And then the Christians swooped in, and while they were trying to convert people, they decided that they wanted to take a pre-existing religion and then convert it so that it met their needs. And they adopted all of the things that we were doing for our religious holiday and made it their own, and then basically bastardized our entire way of everything, and then tried to convert the masses. You know, that's what I told my children when they were little, so that they didn't have to worry about, you know, things. And if they needed something, or if they wanted something and I had the money, they got it. I worked 2 jobs and went to school when my kids were little, before I lost custody of them. So I did what I could to keep a roof over their head and food in their bellies. There were times when they ate and I did not. So I would rather be honest with my children than have to come back later and explain to them why I lied about certain things. Does that make me a bad parent? Maybe, to somebody. But I don't think lying to your children is okay either. So I didn't teach them the social norms, and I'm not going to sugarcoat anything for my children, so I'm not going to sugarcoat anything for you guys either. So this video is probably like an hour long. Sorry this is such a long video, but I kind of ranted on a little bit too long about one brand. If you like these brands, then that's great. If you feel the same way I do about these brands, then that's okay too. We're all allowed to have our difference of opinions. And if there are other brands that you would like to hear me talk about or give my opinions on, then leave them in the comments down below, and I will look at them, or I'll write down a list like I did with this one, and we'll talk about it. Anyways, I'm Rebecca Oberstadt. Hopefully you guys are having a beautiful day wherever you are, or night, and be kind to people even if they don't deserve it. And I will see you guys later